Hold on to your seats. The fun and excitement of duckpin bowling is rolling your way. It's time for Duckpin Magic.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Duckpin Magic. We're in week 2 of a 4-week climb up the ladder with the Men's Pro Tour and the Masters event from Fair Lanes Middlesex in Baltimore, Maryland. And Joe, we've got 3 more bowlers joined by Todd Turcotte, who we saw last week.
Well, we watched Todd shoot 199, so we're still looking for the magic 200. Todd told me everybody will remember 199. They'll forget 200 fast, so we're going to see if we can get one this week.
All right, high scores continue on the Men's Pro Tour. We'll get to the first match and meet our bowlers coming up right after this.
Last year, over 19,000 Americans died in alcohol-related accidents.
To prevent this carnage, we must stop people who've had too much to drink from driving.
And space technology has led to a device to help do just that.
It's a breath tester called a soberlizer that prevents a car from starting if the driver's had too much to drink.
Here's how it works. The driver turns on the ignition, then blows into a tube for a few seconds.
If the soberlizer detects alcohol above a preset mark, the car won't start.
California and other states are already using this procedure with second offense drunk drivers who are subject to imprisonment if they don't have one of these devices installed.
Hopefully it will lead to a significant reduction in drunk driving accidents and deaths.
Space research not only benefits lives,
It helps save them.
space technology.
This is what's in it for you.
Once, there were a few proud men. Men of adventure. Men of courage. Men who knew the meaning of honor. There still are. The Marines. We're looking for a few good men.
You know, not that many years ago, there was a gun in virtually every American homestead. Hi, I'm Grits Gresham. And if you own a gun today, be sure that you know how to use and store your gun in a safe and proper manner. If you don't, make it a point to learn. Safety instruction is available at many shooting ranges and gun clubs throughout the country. And remember, safety is where responsible gun ownership starts. This message is a public service of this station and the National Shooting Sports Foundation.
Our family and our friends, when they get sick, who takes care of them? Competent, committed healthcare professionals, that's who. Nurses, lab technicians, physical therapists, and others. Take time out to thank them for their dedication and their hard work. Go ahead, they deserve it. This message is a public service of the Federation of Nurses and Health Professionals, AFT, and this station.
John Gorman and Todd Turcotte set to begin. John Gorman, 32 years old, has won this Masters previously, 2 years ago, in a match which I don't think anybody will ever forget. Joe, whether they were there in person or saw it later on TV.
Wow, welcome back, John. Good grief. 8, 9, 10.
Got them lined up.
No one could step up on the approach at Fair Lanes Middlesex with more confidence than John Gorman. I don't know how much confidence he just left with leaving that. I mean, I bowled all weekend here and haven't seen that break, and that was a pretty good ball. But if you remember, he had a few of those in the match, we'll call it, when he came out of nowhere with making 3 splits and then throwing a 4-bagger.
He actually had to win 1 or 2 matches before he got to the championship match as well. And there's Todd Turcotte.
199.
Continued.
Well, he's 2 pins plus ahead of that because he started at 199 with an 8 frame. You know, we could have a rematch. I think it would take some doing, but isn't Wes O'Donnell in the... He's not in the ladder? I don't know why I thought he was. That's pretty close to that pin.
Yeah.
Getting a little closer, too. I think it's in front of it, Mike. Well, the pressure's off. He can't shoot 300, right?
Well, you've said before, Joe, that the conditions are such that if somebody gets locked in, they could put up some terrific numbers. And right now, Todd Turcotte has got a lock.
If you get you get
sure
tuned
just
up.
jinxed him.
Yeah, I'm glad you took my position there. But if a bowler gets locked in, the pocket is really large. The main thing is just make sure you deliver the ball, put something on it, and keep it somewhere between the 2 and 3. And we've seen strikes thrown from just about everywhere. As a matter of fact, the strike that Todd threw to set up what we thought was going to be the 200 game was off the side. Gave him a triple, and then, of course, he had the 5 count, gave him 199 game.
John Gorman comes in, qualifying 15:53. It was 3 and 2 in the head-to-head quarterfinals. 7:42 pinfall. Picks up the spare in the second. John's high single 237. His high 3-game set 547. And he gets a strike there.
Yeah, I was eyewitness to a few of those strikes a couple months back.
Well, that helped out.
An important part of Todd's game is not to force that ball. See how nice and smooth he comes through with it? Well, if he gets a hitch in it right at the bottom, then he loses the pin action that we've watched him have over the last game in 3 frames. He's got a nice, smooth arm swing, gets it back and brings it down nice and easy. You can see he looks down at the floor, then his eyes come up.
First time we've seen him do that.
Most bowlers look out at the pins and their eyes come back, but if you watch Todd, he's going to look down, see what and then watch what happens. See where his eyes come up?
He's got it.
I might try that. Beautiful shot. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 10.
Well, back-to-back marks now for Todd Turcotte in the 3rd and 4th frames. John Gorman working on a strike. Make it a double.
John, for a rather short like myself, he really gets down. Watch how low he gets down, and that's where the power comes from. He's down under the ball. Watch the left knee. See? He really sits.
Well, John and Todd certainly no strangers to each other.
No, not at all. That sort of takes an edge away. I think we've mentioned this before. Bowlers that know each other very well, even though one may have a better average, they've bowled together enough that one knows that they can beat the other one at any given time. So the fear of a name goes away. It's even the bowlers that bowl regularly with somebody like Peter Pierce or Swede. They don't have the fear that maybe someone who doesn't know that only knows the name.
Both out of Connecticut. Bowling in the same area.
Yeah, I think they bowl the same leagues together.
Yep.
Number 10 pin, 9 count. .13 pin lead, John Gorman. Todd shooting at a spare in frame number 5. Close things up a little bit.
Yeah, he's got another mark. 3 in a row now.
He's marked 4 out of 5 frames. He just had the misfortune of a chop.
On the head pin again.
Yep, but every other frame, the 4 and 5 count, they don't add up too fast, especially when you had a spare doubleheader looking you in the face. Shoot the 3-6 for 10.
So John Gorman will step in, bowling the 6th frame.
2-6-10 on lane 6. Tough shot because your key pin is the number 2 and it's sitting out there all by itself. Whole lot closer than it looked, and you don't hit anything. So it kind of takes your target away when it moves, when the 4 pin doesn't stay. They went for the 2 and hit the 10. The 2 pins, I mean, not the number 2. For an
92-86, 6-pin match here as John Gorman holds a slight lead, and we head into the final 4 frames, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Went around that ball. See the elbow come out a little bit? It's amazing. And the pins catch you every time. 4, 5, 7. Let's try to slap this off the wall. We've seen this done a few times. No, he went to bounce it. I guess he bounces a lot of pins with as much as he puts on the ball. So he just shot the 2.
So now a couple of fruitful frames for John Gorman. Did not look happy with himself as he sat down. 102 after 7. Here's Todd Turcotte.
Todd's really bowled well. He's had the 2 middles that have hurt him, but other than that, he's made the 4 marks out of 6 frames. There he's back in the pocket. Number
Drops
7.
9, yeah. Got it. So another mark. Well, last game he used the strike. This game he's using the spare as his offensive weapon. And he's got one there.
Very unusual. He's really is a pin bowler, but yet he takes his first couple steps, and it looks like he's looking right very close to the foul line.
They probably told him what he did, Joe. He'd probably stumble his way right up to the
Step
line.
on his shoestrings, right? You'd be surprised how many bowlers really don't know. You know, and many will answer that they're a combination, that they feel like they sort of follow themselves to the line. It's very difficult to run to that line without looking down. John sort of takes his eyes out of play. I can't tell where exactly. It's obvious he looks down and then he looks up at the pins. But I don't know what happens about halfway up. I think he glues his eyes on the pins.
I think he's right on the pins.
Well, Scott's done it. He's taken the lead here, 116 plus to 112. He's going to change his name. That's all it is to it, you know.
Tough break there for John Gorman.
I'm going to have to check. Maybe he has a brother. Todd, I'm sorry. No, we'll get this right. Stick around a few more weeks.
Yeah, if he keeps climbing the ladder, you're definitely going to have to remember his name.
I'll get it right. If he'd have shot 200 instead of 199, I would have remembered.
John will try the third ball here to pick up the full 10. He's got it.
Frame 9. It's going to be a big frame for Todd.
Fourth frame in a row that John Gorman's picked up 10. But the way Todd Turcotte's been throwing the ball, it's probably not going to be enough just to 10 out. He's going to have to put some marks up.
It's a big ball, Mike. You got to stay aggressive. He was in a position where you could have got real careful and made a mistake and put yourself in trouble, but he stayed aggressive, shooting at 3-6 for a spare in frame 9, which would really put him in good shape. John Gorman made the decision, being the higher seed, to go first and finish last, and I don't blame him. It worked out for him in the Masters when he did it that way.
Should say waiting in the wings, Jeff Pyles. Jeff, one of two men who has a shot at winning the Bowler of the Year crown for the Men's Pro Tour, 1989.
I'll tell you, that chop by Todd just set the stage and made it possible to happen again. First time John Gorman throws a ball in the 10th frame that is not a strike, though. Todd will be going on to face Jeff Pyles, and Jeff has been bowling super this year.
Nine more for Todd Turcotte.
Real nice game.
148 is what he finishes up with. John Gorman has a 122 in the 9th frame and steps in for the 10th.
Very hard 148. He made 7 marks, 2 strikes, 5 spares. Here we see the first ball.
Nope. That's it.
It's all over.
Very tough for lightning to strike twice, as
Todd
they say.
said he's going to keep winning until I get his name right, I guess. So
That's a good shot of how the pins jump. John just sent one over to lane 7 here at Fair Lanes.
come off at left rubber. Tough game, 129.
And that's it. Todd Turcotte has won his second in a row here up the ladder of the finals at the Masters. 148, 129 the final, and we'll be back to see Todd Turcotte take on Jeff Pyles right after this.
There are millions of brave Americans across our countryside who answered when their country called, defended her with pride. Across the generations, from sea to shining sea, we're proud to serve our veterans. We're the DAV.
The Disabled American Veterans reaches out with free service for veterans and their families. The DAV Field Service Unit will arrive in your area soon to help veterans with benefits such as disability compensation, medical care, pensions, employment, and educational benefits. It's our way of saying,
yes, we're proud of you, the American veteran. We're here to serve you. We're the DAV.
check your local newspaper for schedules.
Last year, over 19,000 Americans died in alcohol-related accidents.
To prevent this carnage, we must stop people who've had too much to drink from driving.
And space technology has led to a device to help do just that.
It's a breath tester called a soberlizer that prevents a car from starting if the driver's had too much to drink.
Here's how it works. The driver turns on the ignition, then blows into a tube for a few seconds.
If the soberlizer detects alcohol above a preset mark, the car won't start.
California and other states are already using this procedure with second offense drunk drivers who are subject to imprisonment if they don't have one of these devices installed.
Hopefully it will lead to a significant reduction in drunk driving accidents and deaths.
Space research not only benefits lives,
It helps save them.
space technology.
This is what's in it for you.
Freddie,
Hi, Grandpa.
sitting out here by yourself?
No, I'm talking to Shep.
Mind if I join you? For young and old alike, a healthy, happy pet is a companion for life. See that your pet gets regular veterinary care. A public service message from the American Veterinary Medical Association.
Do you want to?
Ricky, if you and your girlfriend have sex just once, you could win this new baby. She'll become a housewife. And forget about partying, dude. You get a full-time job. So, Ricky, what's your decision?
Get some straight facts about sex and pregnancy. Call 1-800-FACTS-20 for this free booklet.
It's Todd Turcotte and Jeff Pyles going at it. Jeff Pyles, the number 8 seeded bowler, and Jeff, as the higher seeded bowler, decides to go first. And we, during that commercial break, have been confirmed by the DPBA officials that Jeff Pyles is the 1989 DPBA Bowler of the Year, and he celebrates with a strike in the first frame.
You can get that out around the... he got that out there quick enough. I didn't have time to say, watch how close Jeff keeps the ball to his ankle, and he had that one about a foot away from it and threw it in the 3-6 pocket and ended up with a strike. So
Todd Turcotte trying to win number 3 in a row here on the upper liner finals. Well, that helps.
We know it doesn't get any easier, Mike. You're not going to win. We've had 3 losses at 129, which we said you won't win many games in this tour with 129s, but Todd just shot 148, and you're not going to win too many with that, to be honest. The pin's moving around. The bowlers, of course, what we're looking at is, look at this, nice shot, just didn't catch the 5.
Well, his 2 games, Joe, he's averaged 173, which has been sort of the number that you've had to be around to do anything this weekend.
Well, we have a bowler that for 15 games averaged 176, which is just astounding. I believe you put things in perspective when we were speaking of it and said when he shot the 17, whatever it was,
1706 or 1707, whatever.
170 plus average, that the first 9 games, if you shot 3 500 sets, you still have to shoot 200 the last game. It's a little scary when you think about it that way. Not too many bowlers have shot 300s back-to-back, 3 times.
If you put it to him that way before he started, he'd say, forget it, I'm going home.
Well, even if you said it now, I think he'd probably say, did I do that?
Well, Todd comes back nicely with a spare in the second frame when Jeff Pyles steps in. If we had to sit here and tell you everything that Jeff Pyles has done in the game of duckpin bowling, we need an hour special just to do that. He qualified with a 1639, was 3-2 in the head-to-head competition, but dropped 826 pins in those 5 games.
Averaged 165 and only won 3 games. So
his high average has been 164. He has won the Bowler of the Year crown before, and he's won it again in 1989. 5 Pro Tour victories. And he is a member of the DPBA Hall of Fame, as signified by the patch you see on the right part of his shirt there.
Jeff had games today, 148, 164, 192, 176, and 146.
Guys had to do some good shooting. Had to shoot 190 and 200 to beat him.
I tell you, I'm just looking, and the scores shot against him totaled more than he shot, and he averaged 165. The game shot against him, it started out easy, 114. It went to 190, 187, 153, and 200.
Of course, that in the 5-game head-to-head quarterfinals that the pros go through. For those viewers who are not familiar with the Men's Pro Tour, they have 10 qualifying games that they bowl, usually on Saturday. They come back on a Sunday morning, take, in this case, Joe, we took, what, 30 qualifiers?
Top 30 from
Top
Saturday.
30, they bowl head-to-head, and then coming out of those different divisions is how we make up the up-the-ladder finals.
5 divisions of 6 people, so you bowl the 5 people in your division a game each, and then they go by wins and losses, and then throw in the pinfall, and they place them, especially for a TV stop as this is, we really take the top 13, so a lot of bowlers have a chance to make the TV finals. It's a long climb, of course, if you're down around 13th or even 7th, it's still a long way to go. Pretty ball, get back in stroke, 49.
Todd Turcotte do that before. Looking for win number 3. He has improved his lot from being 10th to doing no worse than finishing 8th as Jeff Pyles steps in and answers
Jeff,
with a strike.
If you watch Jeff, you really can learn a lot about this game. If you watch his footwork, you think, boy, he flies up there and throws the ball hard. But sort of train your eyes to his arm and watch how slow his arm motion is. It's amazing when you compare it to his footwork. He takes a couple of little steps that make him appear like he's running, but watch his arm swing.
He's got a double.
Thank you, Jeff. We were concentrating, and he showed you that the pocket's real big. He threw a strike on lane 6 in the 1-3, went to the 1-2 pocket and threw another strike. So, and he struck in the 3-6 pocket in the first frame, so he can throw them from just about anywhere.
Todd Turcotte's got it.
The match.
10-pin hung in there tough until he got some help off the side wall.
10-pin match, both bowlers with strikes in the 4th and 5th. They always see 2 200s at the same time, Mike.
Well, got two bowlers with a double working. Well, a few times we've been able to say that on TV, and here's Todd Turcotte. Tough time to...
5 out of the middle.
Knock
He had a
5 out.
10-pin lead, so... Through the frames we've seen him bowl, Mike, so far, he's beat on that head pin very consistently.
Winner here will face off against John Schranm. John among the all-time leaders for Pro Tour wins on the Duckpin Pro Tour with 6. Either way, that would shape up as an interesting match, whether it's Todd Turcotte or Jeff Pyles. One, you've got John Schranm with the big 6 Pro Tour victories against Todd Turcotte, youngster just coming up, or Jeff Pyles, who's got 5 and has done just about everything he can do in the duckpin game. He misses there by leaving the 1 pin. Got the spare on top of the double.
98 plus to 100 in the 6th frame. I tell you again, if you watch, and only because of his accomplishments and who he is, you can say the great Jeff Pyles and DPBA bowler of the year this year, watch the snap when that hand comes down.
Oh.
There's a shot he's almost patented.
Everything going at that pin.
He did this years ago, and one of the most phenomenal records I think there is when he averaged 164 for a league. I mean, that's 492 a night. And he would catch the right pocket, and the ball would come off the right-hand rubber. Just anything was left, it would take it out. Amazing, and it comes from, as you and I were speaking, he has a small hand, and he sort of cups the ball. So when he comes off of it, he's really snapping up and around the ball with a lot of confidence. I mean, many of us can do that, but not with the follow-through and the confidence that Jeff does. It's not a jerk. It's a straight-through motion.
Well, things have turned around here in this match as now it's Jeff Pyles' turn to put some marks together, and he has done so in the last 4 frames. Todd Turcotte now trying to come back. Be looking to throw the 3rd ball here, pick up a count.
Todd's run into a little tough luck. The last 2 frames he's been through the middle on his double, and then again in frame number 7, 109 through 7 to 117. Got to get it going again. Got 3 frames left.
Yep. Same thing happened there.
Well, you know, when you step on the approach and you're bowling Jeff Pyles, who has just bowled 15 games here and averaged almost 165, you have to figure you're going to have to shoot 165 to beat him. Hmm. 116 through 8 frames.
Drops 9. .126 after 7 for Jeff Pyles. 17-pin lead. Put up another mark. 5 in a row now. Strike in the 4th and 5th, and then has put spares on top of that double in the 6th, 7th, and 8th. Now bowling the 9th. Jeff Pyles.
Just what you don't want to happen. 139. 23-pin lead through 8 frames as Jeff tries to work the wood out of this little mess he has here. Left 2, 6, 7, 9. Interesting, Mike. Where do you shoot? Now, of course, he has a 20-some pin lead with 2 frames left, and I think, personally, you got to shoot the number 2 pin. But you could go for the 6-9, a safe 2. He did. I don't really believe it.
146. I don't think he really knew what he wanted to do either. He was shaking his head before he started. And
that was a couple big pins he left on the lane. Todd can go spare, strike, spare, and actually put Jeff on a mark. I mean, all the bowling we've watched, and you thought that Jeff run out to a big lead, but when you chop on a mark, it throws one back. If Todd makes this and strikes in the 10th and then spares, he'll shoot 156. Jeff would need 10 to tie and a mark to win, so it's not over. It's a tough shot here, though, the 110. You almost have to send the ball, or I mean the pin after it. Yeah, see, the ball just
doesn't have enough time to get over there. Yep. Todd picks up 9, 125 in the 9th.
It was a big pin, too. Now, if he'd throw a triple, Jeff could still win with 10. Had he hit that pin and threw a triple, he'd have had the mark to beat him. Well, as soon as he doesn't throw a strike, it's over. And you mentioned this will be a pretty classic match coming up if Jeff does go on to win this, which he did. There was a time when John Schranm, our next bowler up, had not lost a match in the up the ladder. When he got to the ladder, he won the tour.
He does have 6 victories to his credit.
I think his first 4, and I could be corrected, but I believe his first 4 stars were without a loss on the ladder. And it was not always as a top seed. He's been in every direction you can come from. He's won it from the bottom up. He's won it from top seed.
Add another 9 to Todd Turcotte's score, and he finishes up with a 134. Of course, Jeff Pyles already has 146, so he'll look to stay sharp here and face off against John Schranm in our upcoming match.
He needs 19 to shoot his average. His work cut out here. 2, 3, 4, 6. 156 if he hits the 2-4 that remain.
And he's got it. So 156, 134 win for Jeff Pyles. He moves on to face off against John Schranm, and we'll have all of that action for you coming up on Duckpin Magic right after these messages.
Once, there were a few proud men. Men of adventure. Men of courage. Men who knew the meaning of honor. There still are. The Marines. We're looking for a few good men.
A perplexing problem has puzzled young people since the beginning of time. How to get a job without experience, and how to get experience without a job.
The answer is cooperative education, a nationwide program that lets college students work at real jobs for real pay while they're getting an education.
I knew that.
Do you have a condition such as a heart problem, diabetes, epilepsy, or an allergy? Or do you take medication on a daily basis? In an emergency, a medical team must know. A Medical Alert bracelet can tell them for you. Even if you're unconscious or too ill to speak for yourself, your Medical Alert bracelet or neck chain shows your exact medical condition and gives emergency personnel a toll-free number to call 24 hours a day for more detailed information. Join Medical Alert. Call now toll-free 1-800-ID-ALERT.
Buckley and O'Neill together, how come?
I'm here to elucidate the prodigious benefits of space technology, and you?
To bring what you say down to Earth. Take this laser, developed for space research.
It may one day supplant the need for coronary bypass surgery.
It could obliterate an artery obstruction in minutes. The patient's up and around the same day.
I'm speechless.
See? The benefits from space are endless.
Space technology.
This is what's in it for you.
There are millions of brave Americans across our countryside who answered when their country called, defended her with pride.
The Disabled American Veterans is proud to serve our veterans and their families. The DAV Field Service Unit will be in your area soon with free service on veterans benefits.
We're here to serve you. We're the DAV.
Check your local newspaper for schedules.
John Schranm on the left, Jeff Pyles on the right. They'll be facing off, and John Schranm, as the higher-seeded bowler, has elected to bowl first in this match. John has got 6 Pro Tour wins to his credit. He's 36 years old. He is the newly elected president of the DPBA. Will serve in the year 1990. High game of 245, high 3-game set of 579.
3-9.
Of course, the winner here advances up to the next notch on the ladder.
Talked to John after the quarterfinals, and he told me he had like 270 for the first 2 and lost them both. Shot 129 and 147, and turned around, shot 162, 185, 204. So I'd say he got things straightened out. just a little bit.
Here's Jeff Pyles after winning that last match.
I
11 Pro Tour victories between them.
You have a couple bowlers here, Mike, that could spend a little time on TV. There's another pin over in lane 7.
Yeah.
We're going to fill lane 7 up.
Shooting over at the camera down the end of the lane there.
We have to go get him a crash helmet here and some shin guards.
And we've had the bowlers fill out sheets on each other.
Then we'll blink on
Jeff
that one. They were
Pyles,
going, weren't they?
Jeff Pyles, it says additional interesting facts. He says he's lost count, actually. Over 100, 200 games, over 200, 500 sets, and over 20 sets, over 550.
That's incredible. The over 550 is incredible.
John Schranm drops 9 with the first ball. Well, Jeff has certainly come out and served notice that
well, you know,
we're going to get a quick start on things with
but John won't go into hiding, you can believe that.
Yep.
But, you know, these sets and these games, as we mentioned, he averaged 164, so he had to shoot 492, and you bowl for 35 weeks in most leagues.
So you're going to have to be above that in some weeks and
over
slightly
500,
below that
I mean,
in other weeks, yeah.
You know, you got to figure he's probably shot 20 of them in that league.
John Schranm, coming into the Masters tournament, was 4th in Bowler of the Year standings, 11 points behind Jeff Pyles, and depending on how all that fleshes out in that complicated formula that the DPBA has, John could end up as high as number 2 on the list for the year 1989.
I think be between John and Scott Walgemuth, who, as you mentioned, was right up in the running. And I tell you what, Jeff assured himself a good position, certainly with the 1639 and a big finish on Saturday in the qualifying. Then turned around and shot actually 1 pin less than John, because John shot 827, and that's why he was 1 step higher on the ladder, that 1 pin. So pins are important. I tell you, this game, whether it's a league match or head-to-head bowling, it's just very important that you shoot and hit every pin.
The top 2 bowlers, as far as point totals coming into the Masters, which is the last of the Pro Tour events, were respectively Steve Imerone and Swede Lavers, 1 and 2. However, neither one of those gentlemen made it out of the qualifying and therefore didn't accumulate enough points to stay in the running.
Very unusual when you have a Pro Tour that in the finals you do not have Steve Imerone, Peter Pierce, or Swede Lavers. Of course, the qualifiers don't mind seeing that at all. 35-46, Jeff Pyles, 11-pin lead after 3 frames.
Well, 10 in a hurry in the 4th frame for Jeff Pyles, and John Schranm will step in. And I guess we'll see in the coming year whether being the new president of the DPBA affects John's bowling. Al Barbarata said now the past president said he can concentrate on bowling, doesn't have to worry about fielding 16 questions while you're approaching the line.
Well, and you know what happens, Mike? You really refuse to blame it on that. You think you're bowling bad and that's not it. And if you're bowling well, it has not as involved as Swede Lavers has been over the last few years. It hasn't bothered him. But when you're bowling well, nothing bothers you. And the only thing is you can't turn it around if you start going down. You know, the weight's just too much. And being the class guy that Al is, he handled it. He took on the job and he did the job. You know, and I never once heard him blame it. You know, his bowling on the running of the tour.
No. John Schranm in the 5th frame, working 10 pin, and he's got it. A couple of spares in a row now as Jeff Pyles will step in. Jeff a strike last frame.
Tell you, between Al and Swede and the board of directors and with your help, Mike, the tour did get on TV. We had a few rough years financially trying to pull this off with a lot of the bowlers' money. But I think we have things ironed out, and I think we're on TV to stay with the Pro Tours.
Jeff Pyles puts up 10. Now things are going to get a little bit tighter with John Schranm having 64 plus the first ball in the next frame. Jeff Pyles 75, so he leads by 11. Actually, less than 11 at some point.
You can believe that both of these bowlers each respects the other very much. And as you can see, the only open frames on that sheet by either bowlers are middles. Well, John did start out. He knocked the 3-9 off, but went through the middle in the third frame. Jeff went through the middle in the third and the fifth. Big ball for John.
Ooh, how the 10 pin stood up to that onslaught.
The three of them went in that direction, got off the wall without catching it. 10 pin for a spare.
He's got it.
I think we were on the wrong lane, but
you did get it, though.
Take my word for it. You heard it.
And we saw it. So John has strung together 3 consecutive spares in 4, 5, and 6.
Jeff's had a real picnic on lane 5 as he struck his last 3 times. John's had some quick 9s. You really don't want to make any adjustment when you're breaking 9 like that. You start wondering when are they all going to fall.
Yep.
You're watching a couple machines at work here.
These guys are knocking them down 4 in a row for John Schranm. Spares in 4, 5, 6, and 7. Here's Jeff Pyles. Struck in 2 out of the last 3 frames. He's had a little trouble on lane 6, as you mentioned, Joe, but lane 5 has been pretty successful on.
I tell you, Jeff's style and where he bowls from, the rack can sort of hinder his approach a little bit. When he's on the right-hand lane, he
Jeff looking for the 10 pin for the spare. He's got it. Yeah, let's see what happens. Last 3 times he's been on lane 5 here at Middlesex. He's been able to get a strike.
There you see behind Jeff, the general manager.
And as usual, they've just been great in their hospitality here at Fair Lanes.
There he is again, a little tight, 3, 4, and 6. You see right behind Kathy Potts, the general manager, the dark-haired lady right behind Jeff, and right behind her is Jeff's wife, Debbie. Probably been holding her breath for about 6 frames.
Finish up 122 after 8 frames. See how the scoring has progressed here this match. The winner of this match will advance and bowl against Scott Wolgamuth. And that'll be coming up next week.
See you middle again. Tell you, it's amazing. John Schranm has 2 approaches, and I've watched him a year ago here in the qualifying. Just had a terrible first 4 games, and he moved up to where he is now. And if you watch, he only takes 3 steps: left, right, left. And generally, he bowls with like 4.5. He's got a little start step from all the way back, so it's amazing. He takes a full like 3-foot step forward and starts from there, and it's. I didn't ask him, but I would have bet that today he may have started back and moved up.
5-pin match. Jeff Pyles holding the slim lead as we enter the last 2 frames.
Another quick 9 as he left the number 4.
Well, John's got another spare. It's pressure on Jeff Pyles now for frames 9 and 10. Big help.
Sure was. It sounded a little soft, that particular hit. Didn't have the crack that he's had. He pushed the ball right through.
Bowlers are in search of not only a Pro Tour title, a star and the shirt that goes along with that, but in this case, $5,000 first prize money.
Not a bad weekend's paycheck, huh?
All in all, I think Pro Tour giving away nearly $24,000 in prize monies this weekend. Basically, the Pro Tour gives back to its bowlers 100% of their entry fees as prize monies.
A lot of volunteer work goes on, Mike, with the tour, because just being a weekend thing, we really can't afford to be paying a lot of people to do things for us. Of course, the proprietors help. There's a lot of money comes from the Proprietors Association to the Pro Tour to help subsidize these stops. We try to make some of that up with our Pro-Am events, youth, senior citizen, and the amateur bowler. Jeff's got himself in a little trouble. John's going to need a count of 5 or 6 and 8 or 9 out, and John Schranm will be the winner of this game.
Jeff finishes up 141.
Our next opponent is Scott Wolgamuth, I believe.
Yes, it is. Scott, newly crowned as the #1 ranked average bowler in the United States as far as duck pins are concerned. Of course, that combines averages for not only leagues, but competitions such as the DPBA, open tours, open tournaments somebody might have bowled.
That 9 count and, of course, the spare was enough to make John a winner, 146 plus. It was a hard 150-some game. John worked hard.
Yep, he had
no strikes, which he's not used to that. I mean,
7 spares at this point.
Throws his share. Waiting for a ball to return on that lane. There it comes. White lightning.
Well, that'll do it. John Schranm wins it big. 153-141, a 12-point victory, and he'll go on to face Scott Wolgemuth next week's show. We'll be back to wrap things up here in Baltimore, Maryland, coming up right after this.
Last year, over 19,000 Americans died in alcohol-related accidents.
To prevent this carnage, we must stop people who've had too much to drink from driving.
And space technology has led to a device to help do just that.
It's a breath tester called a soberlizer that prevents a car from starting if the driver's had too much to drink.
Here's how it works. The driver turns on the ignition, then blows into a tube for a few seconds.
If the soberlizer detects alcohol above a preset mark, the car won't start.
California and other states are already using this procedure with second offense drunk drivers who are subject to imprisonment if they don't have one of these devices installed.
Hopefully it will lead to a significant reduction in drunk driving accidents and deaths.
Space research not only benefits lives,
it helps save them.
Space technology.
This is what's in it for you.
Once, there were a few proud men. Men of adventure. Men of courage. Men who knew the meaning of honor. There still are the Marines. We're looking for a few good men.
You know, not that many years ago, there was a gun in virtually every American homestead. Hi, I'm Grits Gresham, and if you own a gun today, be sure that you know how to use and store your gun in a safe and proper manner. If you don't, make it a point to learn. Safety instruction is available at many shooting ranges and gun clubs throughout the country. And remember, safety is where responsible gun ownership starts. This message is a public service of this station and the National Shooting Sports Foundation.
Our family and our friends, when they get sick, who takes care of them? Competent, committed healthcare professionals, that's who. Nurses, lab technicians, physical therapists, and others. Take time out to thank them for their dedication and their hard work. Go ahead, they deserve it. This message is a public service of the Federation of Nurses and Health Professionals, AFT, and this station.
Welcome back to Baltimore, Maryland, Fair Lanes Middlesex, where we've been watching another week of men's masters on the DPBA Pro Tour. We're midway through the climb up the ladder. John Schramm will be back to face off against Scott Wolgemuth, but that'll be next week on Duckpin Magic. For Joe Rainier, I'm Mike Sellis. See you again next time, everybody.